Hey guys, as you can see on the thumbnail, this is not a regular video as I'm going to be talking about two games, which is Driving Empire and CarDealership Tycoon. Now I'm going to be going on the pros and cons, and I'll also be saying like things that have happened in the past. So first, we're going to be talking about the pros and cons of CarDealership Tycoon. Okay, now the pros is that making money in the game is pretty easy, and the game's also not as it's very low-end device friendly, I guess, and they have a lot of events. They have limited drops almost weekly, which is pretty cool. But the cons of this game is that there are a lot of bugs and glitches, which is pretty sad. They have really bad updates sometimes. Some of the updates are just really bad. They have unwanted updates, which, for example, the motorbike update, the plane and heli, those updates are I've never seen anyone who wants that. Most of those updates people really hated, and they also have devs that just don't listen. The devs just don't listen, which kind of suck. And now let's go move on to Driving Empire. Now Driving Empire, the pros is that the game is really realistic. They have good models and licensed cars, which is probably the the only thing that's carrying the game right now. The cons, however, is they were previously hated for adding gambling basically, and they're very money hungry, meaning that everything that they mostly focus on money, and grinding is also a very painful thing to do because driving around isn't going to get you a lot of money. The game is also very laggy for low-end devices, unless you play on like one graphics, which is really bad. And now looking at CDT, the game has over like 1.8 billion visits, making it one of the biggest games on Roblox right now. Which, I mean, they're basically carrying the car community at this point. And looking at Drive Empire, they have 1.1 billion visits, which also makes it very big. And it is also carrying the car community in Roblox really well. But what these two don't have in common is that CDT seems to not be the type that listens to their fan base, because you can tell by the stupid updates they keep dropping. And Driving Empire doesn't seem to be as well, but their updates make people happier. Like the plane and heli update in CarDealership Tycoon kind of made me hate the game, whereas the most previous update, which was the TVR drop in Driving Empire, was actually pretty cool. I got to drive like one of my favorite TVRs. But looking at CarDealership Tycoon, right, they have over like 300 plus cars which you can collect, and there are a bunch of races and RPs you can do. Like they added police cars for a reason, and dealerships for people to roleplay dealerships, I guess. But one thing they don't have is licensed cars, and most of the updates are literal shit. Like most of the updates, literally people never asked for, and they keep saying like it's the most sought for type of update. But although you can't really RP much in DE, you can still host car meets, which is pretty cool. That's like I've tried that before, and quite a lot of people have came, but sometimes the cars aren't the best. They have very beautiful house models as well, which is good for RP. You're definitely gonna need houses for RP, yeah. And I do own a house that costs like 4.9 million, I think, and I really like RPing in the house, which is pretty cool, yeah. The house is huge as well, and it also has a giant swimming pool at the back, which cars just float over it, which is kind of cool, kind of funny actually. And now let's talk about the licensed vehicles, which they have, I think, 5 or 6 vehicles now. So they have SSC, Hennessy. Now they have Noble, TVR, and I think Pagani, which is their biggest company. They also have Devel, which is company people don't really like, but to be honest, it's actually the company. Although they only have one car that they've added so far, I mean, you can't really be mad. It's a Devil 16. That car looked insane. Now, Pagani being the powerhouse of the game right now, because they are the biggest company right now, makes them the soul of the game. Because I think Pagani was the reason the game is still alive right now, because it literally shows people that they are going to be getting maybe some of bigger companies, I guess. And I think now you might be wondering, why am I making this video? It's because, well, I'm very concerned about the things that CarDealershipTycoon might do, such as like they might maybe they will never learn, and they'll just add what they want to add, and that's something that you do not want to be doing in a game that's already this big. Now looking back at 2018 when I started playing CarDealershipTycoon, I remember when the Ford Mustang used to be the 2015 model instead of the 2018 model we have now. And I remember when the old Ford Raptor was, I think it was a different model. The one we have now is the much modern model. And the game that we all used to hate, which is Driving Empire, is slowly crawling towards CarDealershipTycoon because of all the bad updates they have. Like, looking back then when CarDealershipTycoon Roblox wasn't really that big, CarDealershipTycoon didn't really have that much players. Like, I played the game and there were only like averaging 500, 600 players, whereas now they're averaging about 10k. I mean, look how far the game has gone from being literally an unknown game to now being one of the biggest car games in the world. In Roblox. Like, if they threw all of that away, CarDealership it's gonna get clowned really hard. They're gonna get clowned. And that's basically all in this video. I just wanted to talk about what might happen to CarDealershipTycoon if they just don't listen to what the fan base wants. I mean, I'm pretty sure they could probably get a few licenses. They have had a lot of sponsorships from a while back. I'm pretty sure they could afford at least a few licenses. Like, I think Driving Empire is kind of going for the slightly smaller companies that aren't gonna hit the big ones yet. Which is, I mean, it's actually a good tactic, especially since when you get more companies onto your game, other companies that may be bigger might see the Driving Empire as a good game to invest in, as it could kind of sponsor the game, sponsor the brand, I mean. And I think that's what Driving Empire is trying to do. They have the mindset, the good mindset of how they're going to grow the game slowly. Because I mean, now they're taking a while, but soon they're going to be at the top of the leaderboard. Now that's really all I have to say right now. Hope you guys enjoyed, and goodbye.